All right. How long did that relationship last, the sexual relationship?
Maybe less than 3 weeks, maybe.
Enjoy the video. Hit the like button.
All right, you may put your hands down. You may put your hands down, Mr. Lozano. Thank you. The court is calling cause number 25081484. 8 DCV. It is a Dimmitt docket case. I have both Desmond Lozano and Jenica Sweeney. They have been sworn in. You may proceed, Ms. Urubaso, and you can tell me what they do agree to.
Yes, Your Honor. It appears that the parties have agreed to the following items. Paternity being established by DNA results that show that Mr. Lozano is father of the child that's party to this case, born on November 19th, 2020. Is that correct, Ms. Sweeney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so she's how old right now?
She is 5.
5 years old. Okay, great. It looks like the parties have agreed to sole managing conservatorship. The parties have also agreed that there will be no visitation between the child and dad. He will, however, cover the child through his employer with medical insurance, health insurance at $123.27 per month, and dental insurance at $13.58 per month. Mr. Lozano has 3 additional dependents aside from this one that's party to this case. Child support is going to be set at $1,342 per month, effective June the 1st of 2026. The parties have agreed to a non-disclosure as to Ms. Sweeney, but it's as to a third party, not as to Mr. Lozano. And Mr. Lozano has also agreed to having court costs billed to him. The issues that we have, Your Honor, are regarding the retro amounts that are potentially owed to Ms. Sweeney or owed by Mr. Lozano, and the surname. Currently, the child's well, I'll start asking questions of the witnesses. I'm going to call Ms. Sweeney first. Ms. Sweeney, could you please state your name for the record?
Yes, my name is Jenica Sweeney.
Okay, and Ms. Sweeney, can you once again give us the name of the child that's party to this case? She is, you said how old, 5?
She is 5, yes.
Okay, and so is she enrolled in school already?
Yes, she is enrolled in public school here in Carrizo. So she goes from 8 to 5, or 8 to 3, sorry.
Okay, is it kindergarten or is it pre-K?
Pre-K.
Pre-K, okay. And so you are, DNA results showed that Mr. Lozano was the father of the child. You're asking that the surname be changed Lozano?
Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Sweeney, why do you feel like she should get her name changed at this point in her life?
Just in case for
what are the
future
reasons?
references, I'm already going through this situation, I guess you can say. I have an older child, and the co-parenting relationship has gotten, I guess, better throughout the years. She's 10 years old when we established paternity and child support when she was 5. So now we're going through the process of her dad also requesting his last name be her last name, because she has my last name right now as well, Sweeney. And just so it's easier and it doesn't come out of his pocket in the future or my pocket in the future, as how I am dealing with this now, we can get the court order established here and it doesn't cost him or me in the future.
Okay. You are asking for a sole managing conservatorship with no visitation.
Well,
y'all have an agreement to that.
Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt you. He said he requested that. I'm just saying that I'm okay. You know, I'm agreeing with whatever he, I don't know.
And that's fine. That's fine, Ms. Sweeney.
Yes.
It is an agreed order with no visitation.
Yeah, I just didn't want it to be on record that I requested that because
We-
it's,
we-
you know,
She may want to rephrase her question.
yeah.
May proceed, Ms.
Sorry about
Uruguay.
that.
That's okay.
No, just in regards to, I guess we're going to focus on the surname. Do you feel like that would be in the best interest of your daughter to change her name at this time?
Yes, but only, I will say in the future, so that way she doesn't have uh
As you stated before.
learning how to spell it. She's in that age where, you know, she just learned how to spell her last name, and obviously, you know, going through the process of the courts and it, you know, I just feel like right now they're sponges, so if it's better if she learns it now than in the future. Like I don't.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. And Ms. Sweeney, you are asking for retro child support for the last 4 years. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Mr. Lozano, has he visited with the child at any
No.
point?
No, ma'am. He has known about the child since I've gotten pregnant. I reached out to him several occasions, even years prior, but there was no action taken. You know, he was not necessarily willing to comply. So that's why I'm asking for the retro because he has known since since I was pregnant, essentially. You know.
Yes. Okay. All right.
That he was a puzzle.
We haven't gotten all the numbers down yet, as far as I know. Let me just check. No. But we are going to be, you are asking for retro for the last 4 years.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We will get to those numbers in a moment. I'm going to go ahead and pass the witness, Your Honor, but I'd like an opportunity to come back and discuss retro numbers with her once we get those done.
Yes, you may proceed.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and call Mr. Lozano. Mr. Lozano, could you please state your name for the record?
Desmond Lozano.
And Mr. Lozano, you heard all of the terms that I believe y'all are in agreement to. Are you in agreement to those terms? Sole managing conservatorship, no visitation, child support being set at $1,342. Are you in agreement to that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the only thing I'm not agreeing on is the 4 years and changing the last name.
Okay, so you, Ms. Sweeney explained why she feels it would be in the child's best interest to change her last name now. You are the father of the child, and so you are saying no need to change it at all. No need to change the child's name. She's 5 years old. You don't want her to have your last name.
Yes, it'd be best to have the mom's name. That way she don't get confused with her other siblings, why she has a different name if I'm going to have no visitations with her.
Is that what you're asking for? No visitation, sir?
Yes, ma'am. No visitation and then no last name.
So in
Okay.
other words, you have no objections if her last name in the court order is going to be changed or will be Sweeney. You're okay with that?
Yes, ma'am. To keep it the same.
All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
There's no objection to the name change. Ms. Urubaso.
Okay, and Mr. Lozano, we are calculating child support for the last 4 years. We'll run those numbers by you in a moment. Are you not in agreement to paying for the last 4 years of the child's life?
No, ma'am. I knew something about it. Maybe not when she was pregnant, a little bit older. But I mean, if she wanted to get it done, she could have done it, sooner, like how she got it done now. If that makes sense.
And what do you mean by done, Mr. Lozano? She could have gotten what done?
Like the DNA, maybe a year when
Got
she was born, you know what I mean? Not 5 years later. Like if I didn't want to comply, maybe there was some communication with her, we weren't bumping heads, but once that, child was born, within a year, she could have said, hey, let's do a DNA real quick, even if I said no, she can still come to y'all, and y'all send me to go do do a DNA with the court. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense,
Yes.
man. Like we could have done it within that year, not 5 years later.
But you're
even if I
talking
didn't
about,
or did want to comply.
you're talking about a DNA testing, right?
Yes, how she came right
Okay.
now and we did the testing, but like the 4 years, we could have done the testing within that year, when she was
I
born.
understand.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right,
Okay,
your
so that
next
makes
question,
sense.
Ms. Urubaso.
Yes. So, Mr. Lozano, did you know that Miss Sweeney was pregnant?
Yes.
Okay. And did
Or
she
not
tell you?
pregnant, just that the child was born and that it possibly could be mine.
So she told you that she was pregnant and that she had a child and that it was possibly
Not,
yours.
yeah, not while she was pregnant, just after, like, hey, I think this child might be yours.
Okay. All right. And so that was told to you when?
Maybe when she was, man, I can't remember, to be honest.
Is it about the time that she was born?
No, a little bit after.
Okay. All right. So you also could have requested a DNA test. Is that right?
Uh, I guess you can say that, yes.
Mhm. Okay. Let me go ahead and just try to get the numbers for
While you do that, Ms. Urubaso, I just have a couple
yes.
of questions, but Mr. Lozano,
Yes, ma'am.
you had a relationship with Miss Sweeney. Do you remember the dates of your relationship?
Not a relationship, just, I guess you could say, talking stage. Maybe less than a month.
Okay, and then I have to ask this, but you did have a sexual relationship with Miss Sweeney, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. How long did that relationship last, the sexual relationship?
Maybe less than 3 weeks, maybe.
All right. And
Can I interrupt them?
in a
I'm
minute,
sorry.
in a minute,
Okay,
we'll get
okay.
your side of the story. And so,
Okay.
did you ever live with her, Mr. Lozano?
No, ma'am.
All right. And so after apparently you claim you had a sexual relationship with her for about 3 weeks, you did have sexual relationships with her more than once, correct?
Maybe twice the most, maybe.
Okay. And then after that, um, you all didn't speak with each other again at all? Or did you
No,
continue
ma'am.
like a friend relationship or any kind of a relationship after those 3 weeks?
Nothing. And then I think I can't remember, man. I think when I guess somebody told me she had a kid and this and that later on with some guy she was dating or something like that.
Okay. And
But we
did she ever tell you she was pregnant?
not pregnant, no, ma'am. Just that she had a kid and she thought it was mine. Not when she was pregnant. Maybe after.
And do you remember when she told you that?
I do not know, ma'am.
You don't and you just don't remember the date. She did tell you that,
Yeah,
but you
not
don't
today.
remember the date, correct? Okay.
Yes, yeah, like I said, yes, she said that she had a kid and that it possibly could be mine. Yeah, she
Okay.
did tell me
Did
that. I
you
just don't remember
ever?
the dates, the year. I mean, it's
That's fine. That's fine. And because I don't want you to lie under oath, so that's fine, Mr. Lozano. Did you ever see her at a point in time that she was pregnant?
no.
All right. I don't have any other questions, Ms. Urubaso. Did you have any questions of her regarding the paternity?
And no, Your Honor, not in regards to the paternity.
All right.
I let me see.
And Ms.
Mr.
Sweeney, I just have a couple of questions for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall, he doesn't have dates, but do you recall how long your relationship was with him?
Yes, I actually lived in a different state at the time.
Okay.
So I want to say it was we may have not seen each other in person. Um, but when I came back to Texas, so it had been maybe like 4 months of us speaking before any, or maybe five, before any sexual relations happened.
Okay.
And then when I came back to Texas, he was actually the first person that I had sexual relations or even
Okay.
saw as a man. And I can give you those dates.
Yes, please. He doesn't remember them. So can you please tell me what date your
Yes.
relationship from the point it
Let
began?
me, yeah, I'm not sure when it first began. Oh, but I know when I did see him, if I'm
Okay,
not
that's
mistaken.
fine.
When is it? Um,
Yes,
it would
can you hear me, Judge? I'm sorry, I got off my truck. I just want to make sure you can hear
Yeah,
me.
no, we can hear you fine, Mr. Lozano. We can hear you.
Okay, that's all. I just wanted to know. Sorry.
because obviously it has to be right before. Yeah. Okay. So I saw him like in February of 2020. I came back from Minnesota on, yeah. So sometime in February of 2020 is when we first saw each other after communicating. I want to say, yeah. And I found out I was pregnant in March 19th with the child that was born of 2020. So February 2020 is when I first saw him when I came back from the state of Minnesota.
Right.
Before that, it was 5 months of prior talking. And then on March, like I said, March 19th is when I found out I was pregnant. I want to say I spoke to him about me being pregnant on June of 2020.
So you were pregnant at that time. How many months pregnant were you?
In June,
Yes.
I would say
Like 3?
3, 4, yeah, 3, 4 months. I was gonna say maybe 3, 4 months, and
All
I
right.
I do remember telling him because I had asked him, like, is there any possibility? Because I was already with, the alleged father of why she has the last name DeLuna. I was already with my, boyfriend at the time, and I just wanted to make sure because I was already with somebody else past.
So what did you tell him?
I had asked him, hey, is there any if he used a condom because we're adults. So I asked him that, because as far as I know, we did use a condom,
Okay.
and I didn't know
All
it.
right. And just stop right there, Miss Sweeney. Let me just ask you first. So it's your testimony. You were talking to him like 3 or 4 months while you all were in different states. You
Yes.
come to Texas.
Yep.
In about end of January, February, and then you all started your sexual relationship.
Yeah, I had seen. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, February of 2020. You found out you were pregnant in March of 2020.
Yes.
And you told him in June of 2020. Now, my question to you is, at that time, you testified that you were already seeing the
Yes,
right now
correct.
the person you're with.
No, well, the alleged father of the
Okay.
other possibility.
All right. My question to you is, were you having sexual relationship with also the alleged father during that time?
Within that same week, yes.
Okay.
And then when I had
so
come,
that's
sorry.
why you had a concern,
Yes,
and that's why you approached him.
Yes, ma'am.
So at the time that you talked to him in June of 2020,
yes,
the purpose.
I did explain everything to him. I told him,
and so the purpose of the conversation was whether you or not you all had used protection because you were seeing both, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Correct.
At that time, what did he tell you when in that June 2020 conversation?
That he didn't, that he did not. I excuse my language if this is, obviously we're important under oath or whatever, but he did not finish. Like he claims that he, didn't, finish, and that he wasn't sure. I don't want to say yes, he did use a condom or no, he didn't use a condom. I don't think he mentioned anything like that. I just think he said like he didn't finish and that, he didn't think it was a possibility.
After that June 2020, no?
No, because I just trusted his word.
Okay. I just
had
need a
moved.
yes or no. Yeah,
I had, yes, ma'am. I moved actually that month. in June.
Okay,
Back
yeah,
to
I just need a yes or no. The last time you talked to him was in June of 2020, correct?
considering the pregnancy, yes, but I had
Okay.
talked to him after that once baby was already here.
Did you ever tell him that Leah was not his?
No, I always said that there was a possibility.
Okay. Ms. Urubaso, you can continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Ms. Sweeney, you are looking at asking for retro child support. Our child support officer has done a calculation of what would be 4 years of retro child support and we are looking at a significant amount.
Right.
Your Honor, I think I'm gonna put the Miss Sweeney on hold for now, and I think we need to call Catherine just to testify so you can get a breakdown of these
Okay.
amounts. Okay,
All right.
Miss Lane, I'm gonna.
Yes,
Okay.
Ms. Catherine, will you raise your right hand, please, and release the mute button? Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, you may put your hands down. Mr. Lozano, I believe that she's going to be going into testimony about what you were earning throughout the last 4 months. So I would probably let you just pay attention, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
All right, you may proceed, Ms. Urubaso.
Thank you. Catherine, can you please state your full name for the record?
Catherine Ramirez
And where do you work?
for the Office of Attorney General, State of Texas.
And what is your position there?
I'm a child support officer.
Can you tell me some of the duties that you have as a child support officer?
I assess wages and review for proper support.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to review Mr. Lozano's wages for the last 4 years?
Yes.
Did you confirm with Mr. Lozano that he, in fact, was working at these different places that you found in your investigation?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So let's do the breakdown. You have from May of 2022 to December of 22 a child support amount of monthly of $801, and that would be for what is that, 7 months? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then in 2023, you found another employment, and based on his wages at that time for the entire year, child support would have been set at $954 per month. Is that correct?
Yes, and that was also including credit for one child in household and one child support order.
Okay. So
So 1 and 1.
Okay. So one child that he's got in the home, one child that he has another order with, or are you talking about this child?
No,
Okay. Another child. Okay. So
2 additional.
2 additional children, and so child support based on the credit given to Mr. Lozano for those 2 additional children, the child support would have been set at $954 for that whole year of 2023.
Yes.
Okay. So then in 2024, you found wages for Mr. Lozano, and you calculated child support at $1,386 for the whole year, giving him credit for the 2 additional children, one with the order and one at in the household. Is that still the same?
Yes.
Okay. That is 2024. Then in 2025, I guess there were some various jobs. Is that correct?
There was various jobs. However, he had an additional child be born May the 28th of 2025.
Oh, okay. So now we're doing from January through May, one amount of $1,304, giving him credit for the 2 children. Then he has the other children. So the other child, from June through December, calculations based on guidelines were $1,203.
Yes.
Okay. And then from January through April, it looks like there was a decrease. So I guess there was another job that he went to.
Yes, that's what the wages that were reported to us.
Okay. And so based on his wages from January through April of 2026, giving him credit for 2 children at the home and 1 in another order, child support would have been set at $1,104. And now, based on current wages, we have child support in the amount May going forward, and which Mr. Lozano has agreed to go forward, $1,342. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Your Honor, I'm going to pass the witness.
And thank you, Catherine. Mr. Lozano, you heard the testimony. The child support officer, when you were in the back chat room, can you face the screen, Mr. Lozano?
Yes,
There
ma'am.
you go.
I got you. Yes, ma'am.
All
Sorry
right.
about
When you were, she was going over these amounts with you in the back based on what you were earning back in 2022, 23, 24, and then you had several other jobs in 25. These are the figures she came out with based on what you told her. Are you in agreement? I know you're not in agreement on the retro, but you're in agreement as to the wages that you were getting back then.
Yes, ma'am. Correct.
And obviously the other children you were giving credit for, right?
Yes, ma'am. Correct.
Ms. Urubaso, do you have another witness or recall of any of the witnesses?
I'm going to go ahead and stick with Mr. Lozano as he started asking him questions. So, Mr. Lozano, based on all of that information that we got, based on the fact that you have 2 additional children in the home and another child with a support order, we calculated retro child support at $55,187 for the last 4 years, that there was no child support provided to it is my understanding that you're not in agreement to making that or paying that amount out.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct. No agreement.
Not in agreement. Okay. So the total amount based on our calculations, the state's calculations, is $55,187 for the last 4 years. And Mr. Lozano, you're not in agreement to that.
Yeah,
Okay.
answered that already.
Yeah.
Next question.
And I'll go ahead and pass that witness. Ms. Sweeney, so based on the calculations, as I said, we're looking at $55,187 for the last 4 years. Is that what you're requesting for retro child support?
I'm just requesting what is due. You
Okay.
know, for the last 4 years, I've had to, I didn't get a choice, you know, and he's continued to have children, knowing that he obviously had a child possibly out there that he was aware of. And again, I've contacted him in maybe 2022, maybe in 2023, trying to even get a DNA test, even to get him to try to do a DNA test aside from, you know, from court, like at any lab now. It takes $200, $230 to get a DNA test outside of child support court. And he was non-compliant. So, you know, I do feel for him because it is a big amount. But I'm just requesting what, you know, what is owed to her the last 4 years, essentially, because he's been supporting other children, and you know, there it's black and it's white, you know.
Okay. All right.
You essentially lay down and you make the baby, and these are the repercussions of, you know,
right.
having
Okay.
children.
Thank you, Ms. Sweeney. We're going to defer to the court.
All right, Miss. I just have a couple more questions, Miss Sweeney. All right. Let me just. I just have a couple more questions. So you testified that in June you were a little bit in doubt. So in June of 2020 is when you had that conversation with him as to whether you use protection,
Yes.
and then you did tell me that you continued to talk to him, but not about the baby, not about Lee.
No, No, we hadn't talked until maybe after she was born. I left it alone because, I had already moved out another state. I was not with the other alleged father either.
Okay.
My family was handling everything for me. When the baby was here, I want to say in 2021, I asked him,
Okay.
I said, hey, like, is there something we can do? Like I said, it takes $230 to get a paternity test outside of court, and I can get you that proof as well.
Now, you're telling me that he didn't get a paternity test. Did you?
No, I
Did
didn't.
you ever ask him?
I was asking him for the paternity test because I was not working at the time. I have a very well medical accredited background. We were going through COVID at that time, so I was
Okay.
also pregnant.
Right. I just
I
need a
lost
yes
my
or
job.
no. Right. I
Yeah,
just need a yes
yes.
or no.
I
In
did
other
ask him
words,
to pay for a paternity test outside of court,
okay.
maybe
And
once or twice. And like I said, every time I did ask, the conversation was deferred to only me and him, not concerning the baby. And that's why when through the court, I'm also agreeing for the non-disclosure because the
okay.
conversations have never stayed on topic of the child. It's always gone, you
Okay.
know,
And so, what was his response when you asked him for the paternity test? Do you remember?
that he didn't think it was his
Okay.
because he knew I that he didn't think it was his, and I just again left it alone. I want to say I asked him again maybe in 2023, and he said I'm getting married this year or something to do with his marriage, like he was in a different relationship. He needed more time. That's what he asked me for,
Okay.
was more time, and so 2 years has passed by. That's she's getting
All right.
older. I need to finish my school, my nursing program, and it's getting a little tough,
Okay.
so that's why I'm asking
That's
for
fair.
support.
All right. And Mr. Lozano, will you release your mute button?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Lozano, you heard her testimony about she approached you sometime in June to ask you if you all had protection because she was also seeing the alleged father, the other individual. My question to you is, do you remember her approaching you on or about the month of June in 2020 about whether you all use protection? Do you remember that incident?
Yes, I don't know if it was June, but it was
Yeah, no, and
sometime.
you just testified a while ago that you didn't remember any dates whatsoever. So I don't want you to lie, but you do remember the conversation happening.
Yes. She just told
Okay,
me she was pregnant. If it was mine, I said, I don't know. I said, I didn't, we're all adults. I was like, I didn't come in you. I pulled out
okay,
or we use protection. That's it.
all right. And do you remember any other conversations that she had with you about asking you to take the DNA testing? Do you remember
Yes.
those?
Yes. That was
Okay,
probably like maybe in 2022 or a little bit after she was born
all right,
or
all
maybe
right.
a couple, one or two. Yes.
So it would have been about, in other words, what she's testifying is accurate, that it was about maybe once or twice that she asked you.
Yes.
Okay. And is it fair to say that she indicated your response was, I don't think I need to because I don't think it's mine? Is that what you told her?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. And then after that, or after those conversations, nothing happened regarding the paternity until the lawsuit was filed in August of 2025, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did you ever do anything to attempt to find out if yours?
No, ma'am, I did not.
All right. All right. Ms. Urubaso. Anything else, Ms. Urubaso?
Your Honor, just something for Miss Sweeney.
Okay.
Miss Sweeney, so in June, when you called Mr. Lozano and you said, hey, I'm pregnant and the baby might be yours, or it could be this other guy's. What rule? I mean, we have the DNA evidence now, but did you, prior to the
I
DNA evidence, was there
I
something that happened
didn't.
between you and one second, was there something that happened between you and that other boyfriend that made you decide that there was no way he could be the father?
And by
Um,
he, you mean who? Hold on, Miss Sweeney. By he, you mean Mr. Lozano or the other gentleman?
The other gentleman.
Okay.
Who was the guy you were living with at that time in June?
I wasn't living with anybody at that time. I was actually living with my parents, as I stated to the judge. But yes, his name is Isai De Luna, and not that he has anything pertaining to the case, but as far as I know, I trusted Mr. Which I know it's gonna sound cliche. I trusted Mr. Lozano's judgment as well, and I believed him as well that he was not the father until Mr. De Luna actually came to me this year, a couple months, or no, not this year, last year, because that's when I filed the child support case, that he medically got diagnosed that he cannot have children. So that's how I was like, okay, now I know that Mr. Lozano is the father.
Okay. No, that's all, Your Honor, for me.
All right. Now, Miss Sweeney, do you recall at least the month or the year that you asked him to do the DNA testing? Do you recall?
I can find it. I know it's on my MacBook somewhere because
Well, would it have been after or
I want to
while
say after, because even after that, ma'am, the other time that he was speaking about that we did have sexual relations, she was like she was born already, and that was the second time that we had sexual relations. She was already here. Like the baby was born and we had sexual relationships after. So that's
You
how
mean
I
after
know.
after the baby was born?
Yes, that's how I know I had reached out for him. And even in person, I had told him, like,
Okay.
hey, I can't give you specific dates right now. I can probably at a later time, like if you want to get like down to the nitty gritty, because I do have everything saved. I just don't have it with me on hand right now.
All right. So what you're telling me is that after you split up with no, just listen to the question.
Okay.
After you split up with the other person, you started seeing Mr. Lozano again.
Yes, I split up with the other father during the pregnancy as well.
Okay.
So I did my whole pregnancy.
And so were you seeing Mr. Lozano while you were, after you split up with the other person, were you having sexual relations with Mr. Lozano during obviously the pregnancy?
No, it was
Okay.
after the baby.
After the baby was born, how long did your sexual relationship with Mr. Lozano continue? After the baby was born?
Yeah, that was very vague. That was like a one-time, yeah, just a one-time situation.
Okay. And Mr. Lozano, well, no. Okay. Anything else, Ms. Urubaso?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor. We're going to defer
talk to me, Judge?
regarding. Oh,
Yes, Mr. Lozano.
Yeah, I said you need to talk to me. I know you mentioned my name. I'm sorry.
No. I think I was asking her a question, but I think the court has everything it needs. So after considering the evidence, Ms. Sweeney and Mr. Lozano, based on the evidence that the court has received, obviously everything that we've read into the record that was agreed to, in other words, Sweeney, that name will remain. We will not change it to Lozano by agreement. No visitation. She will be appointed sole managing conservator. The non-disclosure will be granted. Child support at current wages, giving you credit for your other children, Mr. Lozano, is going to be $1,342. You're going to provide insurance at a cost of $123 and dental of $13 through your place of employment, and they're giving you credit for that as well. The court will grant a retro of $55,187. And Mr. Lozano, the interest on that is about $275. Or what's the interest on that, Ms. Urubaso?
one moment, Your Honor. Let me find out.
I got, because it's such a high amount, and I'll explain that to you in a minute, Mr. Lozano. Just give me a second.
Yes, ma'am. And just to let you know, that child, if I'm gonna put her on my medical, she will have a full coverage, which is all my other kids, which is dental, vision,
Okay.
anything like that. So if the child needs to get glass, something, she is covered with that as well. Just to let you
Well,
know.
that's good, Mr. Lozano, because in these types of orders, whatever insurance does not cover, you all have to pay 50% each of whatever insurance doesn't cover. So the better the better the insurance is, the better it is for both of you, and you don't have to pay that much uninsured
Okay.
bills. Is the
Okay.
interest 275, Ms. Urubaso?
Your Honor,
Yes, that's what I got.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lozano. I'm going to explain something to you, okay?
Yes,
The
ma'am.
55,187 is being granted, and if you wish, you can appeal that, and I'll explain that to you in a minute. But the interest on these judgments, they do have interest at 6%, and so the interest just alone is 275. That's so your payment should be above that, so you can start seeing a decrease in the balance. If not, it's never going to go down. It'll in fact go up rather quickly. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set a payment of $285, which is barely above the interest. Okay. If you can pay anything more than that, I would probably advise you to do so the amount can go down quicker. Okay. Now,
Okay. So that's
it's
additional. I'll be paying that every month to catch up.
75 in addition.
Okay. And I have
All right.
one question, if that's okay. When I get my income, whatever I owe, will that go to her as well?
Yes. Now, if you have more than one child support order, I don't, your income tax return will be seized. I just don't know how they pay it, whether do you have another child support order?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you may want to contact the Office of the Attorney General later. I'm sure they have a 1-800 number. Because when they seize the funds, I don't know if they prorate it and pay it evenly or depending on which judgment is larger. I don't know when an individual has two cases and they seize an IRS refund, how they pay it between the two cases. I'm not sure. But
Okay.
if you contact them, they can help you with that. Now,
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
if either one of you wishes to appeal it, you can do so. You've got 3 business days. What you do is you file something at the district clerk's office, and you do it within 3 business days from the date that I signed the order. So you will get notice from the courthouse that the judge has signed an order. They'll probably give it to me sometime next week.
Okay.
And so you'll get something from the courthouse that says Judge Mendez has signed the order, and it'll tell you the date I signed it. If you want to appeal, as long as you file something with the Maverick, well, this will be Dimmitt, with the Dimmitt
Yes.
County District Clerk, and then they'll send it to another judge to hear it all over again. Do either
Okay.
one of you have any questions? But you will get a copy of the order from the Office of the Attorney General. Yes, Miss Sweeney.
Yes, regarding her last name, since I guess you ruled that it's not going to change.
Well, no, it could. It's just not going to have Lozano. What name did you want? He didn't
Yeah,
have
that's
an.
what I was going to ask. If I can just take off the DeLuna, just so that way, like I said, it's
Yeah,
free
you
here.
want to put Sweeney.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't mind the Lozano. It
Okay, then
it's
it'll
fine.
be Sweeney.
Yes, ma'am.
I will sign it electronically.
Thank you.
So you are both excused. Thank you, Mr. Lozano and Miss Sweeney. You are excused.
Thank you for your time today, Judge.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Judge. Be safe.
Yes.
Thank you. Catherine, you can go ahead and log off too. Thank you
Catherine.
so much for your help.
Thank you.
Judge, I have a question real quick.
Yes.
When will that amount will be taken out of? I think Kaylin or Catherine is.
Okay, your first payment is due June the 1st under the order,
Okay.
but they will send a wage withholding order, Mr. Lozano, but it usually takes, they have 14 days in which to do it. Well, your employer has 14 days to respond. And so it
Okay.
may not make it for, maybe not till July. So just look at your paycheck. If you
Okay.
don't see a withholding for child support, then go ahead for the month of June. You send it in on your own, and probably by July, it'll take effect with your employer, okay?
Okay, so I get paid weekly, so it'll be that 13 divided by 4, and that'll be the amount each week.
Weekly, I can tell you what the weekly amount is. Hold on.
It should be probably about what, 333, 334?
You get
Weekly
paid
three.
weekly?
Yes,
I'm
ma'am,
getting
correct. Weekly.
375?
375.46.
375 per week, Mr. Lozano.
Okay.
All right?
And that's even getting credit, right? Because she's on the insurance? Okay.
Thank you. You are excused.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
Y'all be
bye-bye.
safe. Thank you, ladies.
You.